We're still sorting out what the death of Osama bin Laden means for America. The head of Al-Qaeda was killed Sunday during a pre-dawn raid on a compound in northeast Pakistan. An elite group of Navy SEALs descended on bin Laden's hideout and opened fire, shooting him in the head and killing him. Nearly 10 years after his organization attacked America on September 11th. Joining us now is Jason Brozick, an assistant professor of government at Lawrence University, who researches and writes about issues of war and international security. Good morning.
Good morning, Rachel.
Now, Jason, let me first ask you, we've had about a day to digest the news of the death of bin Laden. What would you say is the best way to characterize the nation's reaction to his death?
Well, I would call it shocked surprise, actually. I think there was a widely held assumption, mine too, if I'm being honest, a widely held assumption that Osama bin Laden had already died of kidney failure or incidental violence, but that we hadn't heard from him in a few years, and I think there was a widely held assumption that he was already dead. So I think there was some shocked surprise at the announcement. It wasn't clear on Sunday night what the announcement was going to be exactly.
Well, I think that's interesting because my next question was going to be, did you ever think that they would find him? But you thought that maybe he was already dead.
I thought that he was already dead. I thought that we were probably just about done hearing about Osama bin Laden. And so it certainly wasn't an unpleasant surprise. It was fantastic news and a fantastic victory for the United States.
You know, some are wondering, you know, this whole social media thing, you get a lot of people's opinions right away. And a lot of people say, how do we know that it was really him? And they're skeptical, even though the government has said we have proven it with DNA and family recognition.
I think conspiracy theorists are going to look for any conspiracy that they can find, and boy, if we can nip this conspiracy theory in the bud, I think that's fantastic. I think over the next few days we're going to see more information released by the Obama administration. I wouldn't be surprised at all if in the next couple of days we see pictures of Osama bin Laden's body. I'm not convinced that that's going to change any conspiracy theorist's mind. I'm not sure that they necessarily rely on facts or information to form those theories.
About those pictures, they are talking about when and if they should release them. What do you think? Do you think they should? I honestly, I'm not sure what good it would do to see the pictures of the corpse. I'm not sure that it would actually provide any information for anyone who's not already in the CIA with their facial recognition software. I'm not sure that it would be cathartic for Americans to see Osama bin Laden's corpse. I think we have plenty of information to be able to trust the military on this. Do you believe there will be any retaliation? And if so, where do you think it'll come from, Jason?
I actually wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any sort of retaliation. One of the things to know about Osama bin Laden is that his popularity, even in the Arab world, had been really heavily declining in the past few years. He certainly hadn't run the day-to-day operations of Al-Qaeda for many, many years. In fact, it's more accurate to say that no one runs the day-to-day operations of Al-Qaeda. It's a loosely aligned network of organizations that are sympathetic to one another but aren't a hierarchical organization. So we're certainly not going to see a massive organized hierarchical effort by Al-Qaeda to respond. Whether we might see any sympathetical attacks on the United States, that remains to be seen, but I think it's unlikely. It's not like those attacks or those efforts aren't already happening. They were happening a week ago, and they'll be happening now.
Well, Jason, we certainly appreciate your time and your perspective this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Jason Brozick, assistant professor of government at Lawrence University, live in Appleton this morning.